Good morning, my friends, or good afternoon. I'm actually going to hopefully have this up in this afternoon. So my apologies that this video didn't air on Saturday morning as it would normally. I've just been entirely enjoying 2 long weekends in a row. So, you know, hubby's home, feeling relaxed, watching a lot of TV, just not out of routine. I'm out of routine, that's the problem. But in saying it's a problem, it's not actually a problem. I'm actually really enjoying the change of pace, the change of focus, and it is what it is. I know you guys will understand. Okay, so we are doing collage stories today. So I have my paper at the ready. Just gonna pop aside the title page there and let's get into it. So the prompts for this week are from Kimberley. And they were, if you didn't see last week, they were Appliance, Something That Turns, Least Favourite Colour, Farm Animal, and Triangle Image. And the 6th prompt from me this week is Map Piece, or a piece of map, or atlas, or, you know, that sort of thing. Okay, so I'm actually going to start with my prompt today, and I'm just going to cover the background. So I've got this huge map page here out of an atlas, out of a German atlas, and we're just going to take off the edges here. I haven't prepared this. I've prepared everything else except this, and that's okay. We'll just whip this into shape good and quick. And how's your weekend gone, my friends? What'd you get up to? Were you relaxing like I was? I have to say we were thoroughly blessed yesterday, which is Saturday. My husband got a message from our pastor, and he's like, do you need another TV? And our initial reaction was like, well, no, we've got 2 TVs. One hardly ever gets used. It's like, no. But anyway, hubby went back and was like, why do you ask? And anyway, a few seconds later, hubby's like, right, I'm off to our pastor's house. And to take a look at the TV. And it turns out, I mean, it's incredible. It is literally incredible. You know, nothing wrong with our TV that we were using. But it was 33-inch. So not tiny, but certainly not oversized by any stretch of the imagination. And we were offered a 55-inch TV that's newer than the TV we were using for free. 55 inches, like that's 22 inches bigger than the TV that we've been using since, I think, 2013. I think we bought the TVs. We bought the 2 around the same time. The one that we hardly ever use now. And right, I think I'm going to keep the C side of the map. So I'll trim off this side. So hubby brought it home, and I've got a photo of the 2 TVs, the smaller TV in front of the big one. I'll see if I can inject it in the video somewhere. Maybe at the end, I'm not sure. The scale difference is just we can't wrap our heads around it. And it's like, it's so big. But we had been, well, when we say we, hubby had been wanting a larger TV. Not 55-inch, but, you know, 40-inch maybe, 45-inch TV for quite some time. But it's a want, not a need. So it was just on, you know, in the back of the mind that one day, you know, when everything aligns and we've got a spare bit of cash and there's a good deal on, and, you know, one day we might be able to buy a larger TV. Well, we don't have to. We got given one, and it works beautifully. It's got better sound than our old TV. I mean, we've actually had to turn the volume right down because it's so loud. So we were used to having the volume on the other TV. We've got to have it quite a bit lower on this new one. But it's like, we couldn't have, you know, we couldn't have. We just couldn't have. We never imagined that we would own a 55-inch good smart TV. I mean, goodness. Well, yeah, we're still shaking our heads. It's only like less than 24 hours that we've had it. Just head shaking. Anyway, let's get back to the collage. And I'm talking about it because it's right in front of me. Like my desk is, you know, in front of the TV. So I'm just literally talking at you, looking at it. Right, so this is the appliance. It's talking about giant appliances. It's a giant fridge freezer. We have something that turns. We have this paddle boat here because the paddles turn. I'm not sure how I want to lay this out, so let's just take a moment to try and compose something we like. Farm animal, I've got this cow, which I thought was really cute. Not sure yet where I want things. Maybe something like that. Least favourite colour. I have this image out of a magazine of this lady with a suitcase, and the suitcase and her clothing is grey. So that's my least favourite colour. It's not a colour I tend to use a lot. There's no colour that I really hate. It's just least used colour. So if you struggle with least favourite, try substituting least used colour. And then triangle image, I've got this picture of the pyramids. It's a triangle. So that's what I'm going with. So maybe we can slot that right in between the fridge and her. Something like that. Now, where do I want to tuck the prompts? I'm thinking the top of the fridge might be a good place. Just like that. That would be, I think, ideal. Okay, now I need to put the pyramid picture down first. So let's do that. Move these to the side. So I wonder if you can guess at today's story that combines all these pieces. I think possibly part of it is perhaps easy to tell where I'm going with it. But we shall find out very shortly whether you guessed part of the story, or all of it even. Right. Here's our triangle image. Okay, then our fridge can go on next. So I want to use it as a pocket. So I have to be very careful. It's actually the cover of a magazine, so it's quite thick. And it's very, very shiny. So the glue I'm putting on here is going to spread. So I need to make sure I don't put it too close to where I want my pocket to be, or I will lose my pocket. It will be too small. Right. Okay, now carefully remove that so I don't glue it in there by accident. So, big fridge. Big fridge. Right, and I will not test my pocket until that glue is dry. And if it is too small, well, I can trim this down a little bit. Okay, so, whoops, bending my paper up. So this, is there somewhere better for the cow? Let's have another look. I'm not sure, because I wasn't sure that I particularly liked it down the bottom of the fridge. So I'm just like, is there anywhere else? Put it on top of the pyramid. I don't like that any better. Perhaps even a little less. Do I need to move her? Oh, that actually might work. Yes, I like that better. Okay, so the cow's going on next. It's got bees buzzing around its horns. Zoomy zoom with the glue. So I've just loosely kiss cut around these images. I haven't worried about doing a proper fussy cut, particularly like the flags, the Actually, I was going to cut those flags off. That's all right. I'll leave them on. The flags don't work in my story, but we'll just ignore that fact. You know, it's a story. It doesn't have to make sense necessarily. Because it is an American paddle boat. Probably on the Mississippi or somewhere like that. Don't mind if I cover her feet. Her feet aren't important in the story. Right, now a paddle boat with the American flags. Or we could just say it's an American-owned boat. That's why it's got American flags on it. Not that it's actually in America. So let's go with that. It's an American-owned boat. Which, of course, if it was in America, it most likely would be American-owned. But this is an American-owned boat somewhere else in the world. Okay, there's our little paddle boat. I don't know if they have paddle boats anywhere else in the world, do they? I have no idea. Absolutely no idea. I know I think we've got a paddle steamer down south in New Zealand. Is that the same thing? Paddle steamer? I guess so. But it certainly, I don't think, originated in New Zealand. Like, I don't think it's a New Zealand built boat at all. But I don't know. I can't remember the history. Anyway, let's get back to the collage. It's time for our story. So we have our main character here. Let's call her Jenny. And Jenny is a dairy farmer. So she looks after cows, and dairy farming is really, really tough work. So they're up very early in the morning, usually about 4 a.m. And in winter, it's more like 5 a.m. because the daylight savings and things changes what time. The cows don't change, so the people have to change their timing. So it's very early that they have to get up, whether it's cold, rain, snow, sunshine, whatever the weather, frost, they've got to get up and get the cows to be milked. So it's a very tough life. It's a lot of physical work. It's a lot of horrible hours and all sorts of weather, and literally in the muck with the cow poop and the splashed milk and the cow sheds, and it's cold, and the cows are loud when they're mooing inside of a shed. It all reverberates when they come into the milking shed. So Jenny is really, really hanging out for a holiday. She really just wants a break from the cows. She loves the cows, but she needs a holiday, and everybody needs a holiday. So Jenny has been saving her pennies, and she's saved up, and she saved and saved and saved, and the time came when she had enough. And so she checked the schedule and worked out when she could take some time away from the farm, that everything would be looked after, that the cows would still be milked, and that the property would be looked after in her absence. And she booked her holiday. And it was time for her to go on her holiday. And the morning she was about to leave, wouldn't you know it, her fridge freezer broke down. On the morning of her big trip, and she was like, oh, I can't handle this. I've got no money. I spent it all on my travel. How frivolous of me to spend it on travel. I should have saved it. I should have known something would break, something would need repairing or replacing. But what really annoyed her was the fridge freezer wasn't that old. It was not old at all, but it was out of warranty. So the morning of her departure, when she should have been really excited and happy, she was full of stress about this fridge freezer. So she decided she'd ring up the company that she bought the fridge freezer from, and she gave them the lowdown, when she bought it, what model it was, what's happened, like what went wrong with it, and da-da-da. So she did this without much hope, but she was like, I can't actually replace this, and all my frozen food's going to defrost. I'm not going to be here to use it. It's going to, yeah, she was just stressed. So she was talking to the company, and they were like, and what sort of warranty did you have on that? Did you have the standard? Did you buy the purchase the extended warranty? And she's like, well, I got the extended warranty, but it's now out of that warranty. She says, is there anything that I can do? And the guy on the phone was like, well, I'm sorry, but it's, you know, it's out of warranty. And she could hear him tapping on the keys on the other end of the phone as they were talking. And she was like, oh, I just don't know what I'm going to do. I can't cope with this. I understand, though. I understand it's out of warranty. Thanks for listening. And she was about to hang up, and she hears on the phone, oh, miss, hang on. Just one moment. And she's like, yeah. And he's like, I just had a look at the records, and I see that fridge freezer had a known issue, which means that it doesn't matter that it's out of warranty. It is an automatic replacement because it had a known flaw, but we just couldn't get all the customers. We didn't alert all the customers because, you know, there were thousands and thousands sold across the country. Says, so it's all right. You will get a full replacement at no cost, and it will even be delivered. She literally jumped out of her skin with joy. She was so happy. It's like everything was solved. And she still had an issue, though. It's like, okay, they're going to deliver it, but what's going to happen to my food? In the meantime, it's going to... So, obviously, there was people around the property who were going to look after the cows and do the milking and all that. So, she went and found the person that she'd left in charge and says, would you mind, she says, my fridge freezer just broke down and there's a new one coming. Would you mind being here and organising the switch over of the food into the new one, making sure it's all plugged in and working when the delivery people get here? And the guy was like, yeah, no problem. We can take care of that for you, totally. So she gave a big sigh of relief. She went back, rang back the salespeople and said, yes, it's all good. This is a contact number of my worker who will be here and arrange everything for me. And so she sorted all that, and finally she could feel the excitement within half an hour of needing to leave for the airport. Cut it really fine. But she was so relieved. So she went off to the airport and she travelled all the way to Egypt to visit the pyramids, which had been a long-awaited dream, to go and see the pyramids. And it was super hot, really, really hot in Egypt. And so after she'd spent the day, the first day, you know, after recovery day, next day she was out at the pyramids and it was hot and dry and dusty. The next day she had booked a paddle cruise down the Nile River. So she enjoyed cruising down the Nile with the river breeze and feeling refreshed and seeing the sights, and had a wonderful, wonderful holiday. And she visited the pyramids a second time and did all the touristy things. And a week later, she came home to a brand new fridge freezer in her kitchen that worked beautifully with a new 3-year warranty on it as well. So there we go. There's the story of Jenny, her naughty appliance, and her wonderful trip to Egypt. And is my prompt list going to fit inside my pocket now? Yes, it does. Yay, it fits there. So that's the collage and the story for this week. Let's go ahead now and see what we're going to play with for next week. So do my little blind shuffle here. That's kind of not really much of a shuffle at all. So this video is going to go up quite late on Sunday. I'm recording it like it must be 3:45 about now. So it's going to be late by the time it uploads and I've done the editing and you know, the works. But it will go up Sunday. So it might be evening when you're watching. Right, more shuffling, less talking, Belinda. You're making a meal of this. Right, top one is the one it's going to be, and it's Robin. So Robin, her prompts are orange, music paper, antique furniture, a toy, and a garden tool. So that's what we're playing with for next week. So I will put the number on there so I remember which one we're up to, which this one was number 15. So this is number 16. Week 16 of Collage Stories. It was a really wonky circle. Okay guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I do apologise that it's late, but at least it's still the weekend. I hope you have had a wonderful weekend and are looking forward to the week ahead. Take care, my friends. Bye for now.